On the topic of Christmas, though, do you think that children should only have one present to help save the planet? So £42 million worth of unwanted Christmas presents are sent to landfill annually. That's on top of the statistic that 100 million bags of rubbish also go to landfill each Christmas. So is it time that we start to limit presents, or is it Christmas, the one time of the year, the one day of the year where being green just doesn't matter? You don't want it to be in your headspace. 0207 862 2222 is the number to give us a ring, and let me know where you stand on this. One Christmas gift, is that a bit Scrooge-like, Ben?
Yes, it absolutely is. This is Christmas. These are kids we're talking about. They look forward to this for weeks. I remember how excited I was at the age of, up to about 30 probably, when it was Christmas.
Still look forward to it.
I'm only 33 now, so yeah, not long ago. They look forward to this. They rush down in the morning. What's in the stocking, Mummy? Oh, why I've only got one present. Imagine that at homes across this country on Christmas morning.
Is that not
depressing.
suggesting we're quite spoiled?
Well, there's a limit, right? I'm not saying buy kids 20 things. I'm not saying spend thousands and thousands of pounds even if you've got it. Yes, you can go too far for sure. It doesn't have to be big presents. It doesn't have to be expensive presents. But having the joy of those kids opening those presents on Christmas morning, my goodness, what sort of country have we become if we want to do it that way? And just, I would also say, growing up's really hard these days. These are kids growing up in a social media age. They're doing more exams and homework than they've ever done. If they want to go to university, they have to pay thousands of pounds. They're probably never going to get on the housing ladder. Being young in this country is really tough. Taking away their Christmas presents, no.
Do you have kids then, do you?
I don't have kids, but they will be getting more than one present.
Well, there you have it.
It is a man who's worried about his wallet this Christmas.
No, but I tell you, thank God my kids are grown-up adults, because it's a pain.
What, you don't buy them presents?
But when I tell you what, it's an absolute pain, and the pressure that parents are under on the Christmas. No wonder you're talking so romantically about it, because you haven't actually had the experience.
What do you think is a fair number of presents?
One is fine by me.
Really? Just
if it was one. This is a memory that I'll always remember when I was a little kid, and it's sort of seared in my memories that actually what you had to do is that you had to then come to school and bring the presents that you were given at Christmas. And I had just very few compared to everybody else's, and I was really sort of embarrassed about that.
Oh.
But I just think, look, there is so much pressure under parents. It'd be fantastic. I'm sure a lot of them would agree. It'd be fantastic if there was this rule that you could only get one or two. It'd just get rid of all these presents. So you got to get stockings. So you said, when I had to go through that, there's stockings, which has about 10 or 20 little presents. Then they're going to have 20 or 30.
So just abolish Santa. Let's abolish Father Christmas.
All right.
But two.
One gift, not to save the planet, apparently, but just to make it easier on parents as far as Wilfred's concerned. Yeah. But I want your calls on this after the break. Whether we should limit Christmas presents to one, or just limit them in general in order to help save the planet, right after the break. Okay, but let's take another look at more of our viewers' trees. You've been sending them in. This is Sarah's from County Durham. She emailed us a picture of her 9-foot tree. There are some tall ceilings you've got there, my friend. And yes, she has decorated it all the way around, so you can see it from the window as well. Donna from Staffordshire emailed us as well with this photo, adding that this is one of 3 trees that have been up since mid-November. 3 trees, that's a bit greedy. You need a present for each tree, just going back to our topic. And this is Danny, who's emailed us with this photo of his tree that he put up yesterday, and it is beautifully done. And lastly, Helena emailed us with a photo of her furry friend, I love a dog in a picture, getting into the Christmas spirit. I believe that dog might be wearing a Santa outfit of some description, or at least bare minimum a Christmas jumper, and I approve. Very nice. Okay. But first, your calls on whether children should only be given one present this Christmas in order to help save the planet. Charlotte from London is on the line now. Charlotte, one Christmas present, is that a bit mean?
I think it's very mean. I feel like Christmas is all about, the culture now is children having lots of presents, having fun opening them. I feel like we shouldn't put a cap on presents, but we should probably let the companies that sell presents take a bit more ownership, because they're clearly producing more, which is adding. So if those companies potentially took back some of those gifts, or had a program where you could recycle them with them, I think that might be better.
I mean, you're talking about supply and demand here. So I think toy companies, toy manufacturers will try and reduce the amount that they are creating if they don't think the demand is going to be there, just because it would leave them with less money. But I think maybe you've got a point that we could ask toy manufacturers to reduce the amount of plastic that the toys come in and the amount of just sort of cardboard gubbins around the side that you end up chucking out that ends up going in landfill that you can't recycle. Maybe that's something that we need to campaign on.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. The packaging, because you do get a lot of packaging with small toys as well as big toys.
Wrapping paper.
It takes away the fun. The fun is watching them unwrapping the paper. If it was just one layer.
And trying to rip cable ties apart just for sheer strength.
Right. Yeah.
You're thinking
and
that's
their
not going to work.
impatience. So what the whole point of giving presents is not actually the present itself, is them going through the excitement of trying to guess what it is. What is it? Oh, and they go layer after layer.
Charlotte might have a point here in terms of maybe it's not Grinch-like, but you're putting an awful lot of pressure on that one toy. If you're only getting them one toy, what if you get them the wrong one? You've spoilt their Christmas.
Well, these Russian dolls was a great idea, wasn't it? Where, you sort of, it's all in one. You get one present, you've got all these little things.
Well, that defies the point then
Did you not enjoy
ruining
buying
the environment.
I prefer buying presents to giving them. I love buying people presents.
I didn't. And then the other thing, you see, this thing that they've started was the stocking. So there's a present is one thing. Now you have to have stocking fillers.
Now they're sacks. They're not just one big sock. They used to just be a sock.
Exactly.
Then they became a giant sock. And now they're a sack.
And I got, marshmallows and chocolate. It doesn't have to be sort of big stuff.
We've got an obesity crisis then.
That's why
so
I've got
come
an obesity
on, and children
crisis,
are the biggest reason that children are admitted into A&E is because of dental health. We don't want to start.
Then.
Give
them a lettuce.
An orange and some cashews. They'll be really
throw that
excited.
back at you.
One lettuce in Wilfred's household.
Okay. So there's definitely arguments for and against the one present principle. But I think, Charlotte, you're right. I think most children will be getting, sorry, not most, probably not most, a lot of children will be getting more than one. Ben, a lot of these presents end up in landfill. It is just waste. It's for that excitement. It's for that moment in the morning where they're ripping the presents apart, and really quite selfishly for the parents who enjoy that moment. Are we actually just being a bit self-indulgent when it comes to Christmas, and we need to learn to be more economical and teach our children that actually Christmas isn't about presents, Charlotte? Christmas is about spending time with your family and spending lots of time creating a delicious meal together and maybe sitting down watching TV or going for a walk.
Yeah, I think both those things can be true. Christmas shouldn't just be about the presents. It's all about the family. It's all about the festivity of it as well. But if we want to talk about the environment, it's an important concern. It's something we should be aware of. We've got wealthy people flying around on their private jets, politicians jet setting, big business pumping out emissions left, right and centre. Are we really going to say that the problem with the planet right now is children's Christmas presents? Is that the group of people
very good point,
that we want
Wilfred.
to foot the bill for going green? Our nation's kids at Christmas?
We want to start educating them so the next generation won't have the same layer of expectation. Back in my day, actually, you didn't get the amount of presents that you now get. We've built up this massive expectation. What is it going to be like in another 5-10 years? People are going to have to take out mortgages to buy presents because the expectation has got so much.
And I wonder where that expectation comes from. Is it from adverts that children are absorbing? Is it to do with social media, do you think, Ben? In terms of it's much easier because everyone takes pictures of the Christmas tree with the presents underneath it, or because they take pictures of what they got and post it on social media. So it's very easy to access or get access into people's homes and find out really what's happening elsewhere. And then it's a kind of keep up with the Joneses situation.
I think the point about advertising is very fair. I think, you've got to, Wilfred's right in a sense, you've got a generation that's very consumerist. They have to have the latest phone, they have to have the latest trainers, they have to have the latest this, that and the other. If you're talking about banning advertising that's aimed at kids, I'd be supportive of it. But I don't think the kids here are the problem. We've created a world, we've created a culture, sort of rampant capitalism and consumerism where they have to have everything their friends have got. That's not their fault. You can't just say, well, you can't have... obviously parents need to draw limits, but it's the world that we've
but what we
created
do-
for them that's the problem, not the kids
So what
themselves.
is this? There's nothing wrong with these occasions, but after Christmas we've then got Valentine's Day, which is again, tons of expectations and presents. After
Kids aren't getting Valentine's.
Yes, they are. They're giving
11?
Get Valentine's cards.
They give Valentine's cards and presents.
No
and
one's
then
getting their children a
then
Valentine's.
Easter.
That's weird.
Have you done the Easter run yet? And the Easter eggs, it gets
Oh, and what's that?
crazier and
£5?
I'm telling you, you've got to put it everywhere.
We're focusing on the finances here.
Yeah.
You've already said it doesn't have to be expensive presents. But actually, what we're looking at is, do we need to limit it for the environment? It doesn't matter whether it's £5. That £5 Easter egg still comes in a plastic packaging to protect the chocolate egg, which can't be crushed. That comes in then this cardboard box, which normally has a mug in it as well that nobody ever uses. And if you're anything like me, all your mugs have to match, and so that ends up getting tossed out.
exactly.
And then that ends up in landfill too.
The point about packaging is true. If we're talking about Christmas wrapping paper, does everything have to be wrapped in dead trees? Perhaps not. Can we use newspaper? Maybe that's a bit grinchy, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't think a kid's Christmas is going to be ruined because it has to open a present that's wrapped in, I don't know, old newspaper instead of wrapping paper.
Metro covers.
Packaging, yes. Presents, let's keep the presents and think about the packaging.
All right,
I like
okay. Well, I don't think we came to any conclusion in that other than we're less concerned about the environment and we're more concerned about our pocket when it comes to presents.